Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rob and Craig Live. I am your host for the next 60 minutes, and I've got a really great show lined up for you, and I've got a couple of items to give away. I'm really excited about that. But first, it's time for the critter update. Now, last week, you guys heard me talking about lizards. I was even wearing green in honor of the lizards because they're all green. Well, I've got so many in my yard. I went out by the pool. Thank goodness. Yes, it's hot. It's been in the 80s every single day. And I've had the great pleasure of swimming in my pool. The water's a little bit cool, but once you get in, oh my goodness, you can just swim and swim because it's a little bit brisk. It's wonderful. And I was out there the other day and I was looking over. I have a great big clay sun that is hanging on the exterior wall outside, and his mouth is open. It's like an open mouth. And I saw something green and I thought, oh, a leaf must have blown in there. I'm going to go get it. As I got closer, it was a lizard. And I realized that is a lizard hangout. And he was so cute. He was coming out of the mouth and he was like about this far out and he was just hanging there like sunbathing, like it doesn't get any better than this. I did take a picture and I will be posting that on Facebook. So make sure to watch for that. And if you're watching the show and you are not my Facebook friend me and tell me that you watch the show. Robin, Craig, you can't miss me. You know I'm holding two of those darn Emmys. Okay, now tonight, oh my gosh, I'm going to be giving away, of course, another case of Bean Itos. And so many of you guys have had the opportunity to win them, and you know how great they are. They have got protein, they are low glycemic, they are trans fat free, they are cholesterol free, they are potato free, they are corn free, they are soy free, they are gluten free, and some lucky winner tonight is going to get a case of these free. You will love them because they are chips made out of beans. These are my favorite, the black bean chipotle barbecue flavors. So stick around for that. And also, I'm going to be giving away a gel hot polish kit made by Luminous. All of you guys know how much I love my long nails. I've had solar nails for probably 10 years at the salon. And when you get solar nails, they use an electric little nail drill and they have to file the top part of your nail. Well, I just had a signal one day that my nails just wanted a little break from that. But my nails underneath were so thin from having been filed down for so many years. I asked my manicurist what options did I have. And she says, oh my goodness, you really should try the hot polish. So she did the hot polish. I really liked it. It was $40. So then I heard about the Luminous kit for home. And they have two different kinds. This is the Elite. And you can probably see the little lighting underneath. These are LED lights in this one. And it comes with several different polishes, little bottles of polish. This one is pink. You can see the pink color. And you paint it on just like normal polish. And then you just put your hand in here. You just press a little button. It runs on 4 AA batteries for just 2 minutes. So you do the base coat, 2 minutes. You put the color, 2 minutes. You put the top coat, 2 minutes, and you're done. And then, of course, you do the other hand. Then they also make the Pro Kit, which is really great. This is one that you would want to get if you want to use it at home because, as you see, it's got a cord. And it's the same scenario. It's just got a little button on the back that you press. You paint your nails and you just put your fingers in there and you let them dry for only 2 minutes. So when I got mine, I was really excited because it had the polish to do the French manicure. You just put the white polish on the tips. So look at my nails. I don't know if you can see them. They're shorter than I normally wear them, but I really like them and it's really been fun. I was gardening for 7 hours this week and I thought, look at my nails. They look really great, and that's after digging in the dirt and clipping. I mean, I did so much manual labor. I cleaned my pool, I brushed it, I shocked it. I did so much manual labor, and look at that. What a great testimony. I really like this. So somebody's going to win tonight, and it comes with everything that you need. It has a cleanser. You just put it on a cotton ball and you wipe your nails down to make sure all the oil is removed. And then once you get finished with everything, you do this again just so that everything sets. And then the next time you do them, it can last up to 3 weeks dependent on your lifestyle, of course, and how long or how quickly rather, your fingernails grow. And when it's done, it comes with the remover, and you just put it on a cotton ball and you just soak it for a minute, and it just scrapes right off. It is super easy, and look at the money I'm saving. The Elite is $69. This is the one that runs on batteries, and then the Pro is $79. So it's like two manicures, and you've paid for this, guys. So I know you're going to be really happy to win that, and you can check it out at gelhotpolish.com, and hot is spelled Haute, like haute couture. So just go to gel, G-E-L, hot, Haute, polish, you know how to spell that, .com, and you can check it out. And the other thing that's so cool is that it comes with this fold out of instructions, and it's got pictures. I'm not going to hold it up because it'll upset my white balance, but it's got photographs. Even if you can't read, you could work this system because it's got pictures that outline everything. So super easy to use. So, okay, now we're going to move further into the show. And you know, one thing that we talk a lot about as widows and widowers is, will we ever remarry? Some people say, I might be too old to remarry. What is too old to remarry? I mean, it's an arbitrary figure, quite clearly. Well, here's a little story for you. According to Forbes, they have reported via Vienna News that Austrian supermarket and property tycoon Karl Vlasček will wed for the 5th time at the ripe old age of 94. 94. Can you believe it? This guy is living life, isn't he? His bride-to-be, girlfriend Friederike Schenk, known as Ricky, will not reveal her age. Women don't like to reveal the age. But it's likely a good 3 decades behind the groom. So if he's 94, she's somewhere in her 60s. Vlasček earned his 4.million, I'm sorry, I can't even say it, it's such a big number, 4.7 billion with a B, $4.7 billion bank account by founding Billa, a European supermarket chain, and he has since become one of the biggest real estate magnates in Austria. I guess 4.7 billion, my gosh. He announced his engagement at one of his own properties, a sprawling 5-star hotel in his native country, where he once played as a struggling young jazz pianist. Back when the musical genre was in its infancy, I guess so. If he was young, my goodness, 94, it had to be in the early 1900s. The groom met his future bride at a Vienna event a few years back and soon realized they had both lost their spouses on the same day. I mean, you have to hook up if you meet somebody and you lost your spouse on the same day. How unbelievably rare is that? So anyway, Carl says he's got 4 kids, but he wants another 5 or 6 at the very least. His bride naturally just laughed that off, and she says, I'm not so young anymore. She won't tell her age, but she says, I'm not so young anymore. So I don't know whether he's going to say, hey, honey, let's adopt or what. But what a way to live life, and what an example to all of us. It's never too late to find love again and remarry. Isn't that special? I'm tickled pink. Okay, so one more story for you. And this was another lady. Everything seems to be happening abroad. This story is from Australia. The other one was Austria. A lady named Jo Mullings, just about 2 weeks ago, went home to find a broken window. Her front door was open, and some of her valuables were missing, including her television and a laptop. But the worst discovery was in her bedroom. She went in and saw the box that contained her husband Russell's ashes had been opened, and their 2 wedding rings, which she kept in the box, were missing. Isn't that sad for someone to take that? Goodness gracious. She said, I felt devastated. I still don't know the words to properly describe how I feel. After her husband's death just 2 years ago, Jo had occasionally taken out the rings and put them on when she felt sad. You know, we feel comforted when we touch things that our loved ones touched, and certainly a wedding ring that your loved one put on you and you put on him or her. Oh my goodness. So she said they were the most valuable things they were, even though they didn't cost that much. Even though the police did the forensic efforts, they didn't come up with any leads. And she said her only hope was that perhaps the thieves might return them. And she's even willing to buy them back. She will buy back her wedding rings. And she said they don't have any special markings. They were just two white gold bands. But she says she will know them if she sees them. So she just said that if anybody hears about her story, the more that we share her story, the more chance that she might have of getting the wedding rings back. So if you have any information and if you can help find Joe's rings, just send an email to news.feedback at nine spelled out NINEMSN.com.au. And I hope Joe gets her rings back. Bless her heart. Okay, guys. Whew, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? My goodness. Let's take a little break and have some Crystal Light. How are you guys doing in the chat room? Oh, good. Oh, my goodness. Linda Guillory, honey, I'm glad to see you. And we've got our regular Sandy, Melanie, Ellen, glad to see you. Connie, Amy, Doug, Terry. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. I'm excited. It's really going to be a great show because tonight's topic is 45 tips that were written by a 90-year-old woman. How special is that? The fact that you even care to write anything when you're 90, I find that like really, really impressive. And to sit there and reflect about your life. You know, all of us have learned so much in our lives. We all understand that wisdom comes with age. But when you're 90, boy, you just think all of the life experiences, all of the things that you've seen, watching the world change, watching your loved ones and friends die, all the different jobs, occupations, everything that you've gone through. How many presidents has she lived through at age 90? That alone is like astounding. So I'm going to share some different tips. The first one that she said is life is not fair, but it is still good. Amen to that. Life is still good, but it's not fair. And I mean, what do we call fair? Everything's perfect. We have money. We have a job. All of our loved ones are alive and well. We're in perfect health. I mean, you know, life is what it is. It's full of adversity, but at the end of the day, it's a true gift. Number two, when in doubt, just take the small next step. And you know, we're always in doubt. We don't know what to do. We get overwhelmed with things. But what do? She says, just take the next small step. And I've said that when I come to doing chores, when I feel overwhelmed, when I've got so many, I always just tell myself, just pick one and focus on it, and it will lead to the next one. And I think that that's what she's saying, that when you're in doubt, just take the next small step, and you'll figure out from there which way you need to go. Then she says, life is too short to waste time hating anybody. Change the way you think. Isn't that poignant? I love the way that she said that because we all know that life is short, and we all know that when we feel ill will toward others, it really hurts us. We're the ones that are walking around mad or sad or thinking about it or mumbling under our breath. She says, forget about it. Just change the way you think. I really like that. Number four, your job will not take care of you when you're sick. Your friends and family will, so stay in touch. That's a tough one because a lot of people have very demanding jobs, and it just isolates you. Being a TV producer is very demanding, and you really don't have time to talk and visit and see people. I mean, you're so exhausted, and then you've got to do your chores and wash your clothes and get ready to come back. So it's kind of a difficult thing, but she clearly indicates that we need to focus on that, staying in touch with friends and family. So when we need them and when we're down, they remember who we are. It's not like you call them and they go, wait a minute, who is this? I don't recognize your voice. Okay, the next one. Pay off credit cards every month. I know there are a lot of us who wish that we had done that, but somehow you just get caught up in it and you think, oh, I just need it for this, or oh, I need it for that, or I'll catch it next month. And next thing you know, they stockpile. And she clearly understands that credit card debt is something that is negative in our life. So she says use credit cards. Just pay them off every single month. The next one, you do not have to win every argument. Just agree to disagree. Oh man, that's one that I say all the time. And you know, when I think about it, I don't know any two genetically the same siblings who can agree on everything. It's an impossibility. So, if genetically the same siblings with the same raising and the same parents, if they can't agree on everything, how on earth can we expect others to agree on everything? We just can't. So, if we can learn to agree to disagree, we will quite clearly be a lot better off. Okay, cry with someone. It's more healing than crying alone. I thought that was very poignant because, of course, when I lost my husband, there was nobody around but me. I don't have children. I cried buckets of tears, but by myself. And she made me wonder, what would it be like to cry with someone? Had somebody been in my presence that missed my husband as much as me and we were crying together? What an amazing experience. She says it's very healing, and I haven't really shared that experience too much, but it's beautiful. She also says, release your children when they become adults. It is their life now. That's a hard one to do. I don't know about you guys. I don't have kids, but I know a lot of people whose kids are in their 30s and the parents are still telling them what to do. But she says basically raise your kids and let them live their life. That's a hard one, but we're looking at some good words of wisdom here. And by the way, Regina Brett is the lady who has given us this wonderful, wonderful insight. The next one, save for retirement, starting with your first paycheck. Whoops, how many of us did that? I don't know anybody that has done that. If you only saved a tiny bit, when I look back at all the jobs I've had, I think, boy, if I had saved just a little bit from every paycheck starting from day one, look how much money I would have. Very, very wise words. She says, when it comes to chocolate, resistance is futile. And I so believe that too. She says it's okay, eat some chocolate, ladies. You know, I mean, a little goes a long way. We can't just deprive ourselves. That's to me the bottom line is don't deprive yourself of some things that are really not that harmful. Eat a little bit of chocolate. Make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present. Isn't that great? Because how many times, I don't know about you guys, I've been in the shower where my mind is just wandering, and all of a sudden I'll start thinking about something that happened or something mean somebody said, and then I get kind of worked up. She just says, forget about it. Make peace with it. Let the past go. Make peace with it and move forward. Don't bring it into your present. I think that's super. She also says it's okay to let your kids see you cry. When I read that one, I thought about TJ Anglin. Do you guys remember him? He was on the show a few months back, and he was a 27-year-old widower with a 5-year-old son and a 90-day-old son. His wife died in the childbirth process on the second little baby. And I couldn't help but think about him because he said that when he grieves, he wanted to cry in front of his older boy to give him permission to cry, but that he didn't want to freak out and like hit the wall or, you know, let all of his anxiety out in that way. But I love that this is what Regina is saying, that it's okay to let your kids see you cry. She says, don't compare your life to others. You have no idea what their journey's all about. And you know, I thought about being widowed, and I just thought about how so many people say, well, I wouldn't do that. Or if I were her, I would do this. Or she's just overdoing it. But you know what Regina is telling us here is walk a mile in everybody's shoes. All of our journeys are different. And there's no way that we can understand how somebody else feels. Our chemical makeup is different. Everything about all of us is different. We are all unique in our own way. And I like the fact that she says, just don't compare yourself to others. And others shouldn't compare how they would react to how we would react. I love that. She says, if a relationship has to be a secret, you do not need to be in it. So what does that mean? Extramarital affairs? Guys who are married, don't date somebody that's married. Don't date somebody that your family hates. There must be reasons for all of that. If it has to be a secret, she simply says, don't do it. All right, I'm going to check into the chat room, see what you guys have going on. Oh, and there's KC. How you doing, Cheryl? Really glad to see you, sweetie. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Excellent. I'm making myself a little note and I'm checking in to see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Okay. Sandy, she agrees. I believe in the power of sharing those moments when we cry. Yes. Yes. Ellen is agreeing too. She says, I find it very comforting. And that's what's so cool about this show is that, a lot of us, we've figured out a lot of these things. I wonder at what age the writer figured out so much of this. You don't have to be 90 to figure out so much. I see all of us are just agreeing. Yes, absolutely. Okay, I see Connie's back with us. Glad you're here. Okay, the next one. Everything can change in the blink of an eye. Boy, all of us watching the show who are widowed, don't we know that? Life changes in a second. She says, take a deep breath. It calms the mind. And, those are all the theories like behind meditation and those sorts of things. To just take a moment to breathe and to block out all of the noise. She says, get rid of anything that is not useful, beautiful, or joyful. That's hard to do, but that's just really very poignant. We need to declutter our lives. We get so hung up with stuff and we get so hung up with holding on to things, and a lot of times it's got a really old energy. We don't even feel good that we have it. We just pass it and we don't even look at it anymore. It's just old and it's been there. So if it doesn't bring you joy, if it's not beautiful, and if it's not useful, just get rid of it. Clean out your closet and just let it go. She says it's never too late to have a happy childhood, but the second one is up to you and no one else. Obviously, when we're growing up, our parents are in control and we just go with whatever they do and we don't know the difference. All of us think we have a normal childhood, and then we start to compare notes with other people. They think they had a normal childhood too, but yet all of our childhoods are different. But you can have a second childhood. That's the one that you are in control of. When it comes to going after what you love in life, don't take no for an answer. I really, really like that one, because there are always obstacles and there are always naysayers, and people will say, oh, you can't do that, or if you do that, this is going to happen, or oh, that's expensive, or oh, you'll have to drive too far, or oh, it costs too much. There's always so much negativity. But she basically says, when you really want something, don't listen to anybody. Don't be impacted by any of that. Just go for it. I absolutely love that one. This one I love too. Burn the candles, use the nice sheets, wear the fancy lingerie. Don't save it for a special occasion, because today is special. Isn't that the most beautiful thing? I think about that a lot. For my 25th birthday, my mom gave me a beautiful set of china. I had just bought a condo. She and her mother, my grandmother, had come over, and I served dinner, and we all had a different plate, and I think we all had a different cup. I was clearly a starving artist at that time. So when I turned 25, my mom gave me a set of china. Well, unknown to me, 3 months later, my mom died. She was only 53 years old, and she died 3 months after giving me that the most special gift that she ever gave me. I loved it so much. And I had a tendency not to use it. And then I told myself, if I die, my nieces and nephew, they'll come in and use it, and they'll probably break it and do other things. So I might as well have the luxury of doing that. So I use it now, and it's really a beautiful thing. So that's what Regina is telling us here. Use everything new. When you buy a special dress, honey, wear it, because today is special. So great. Just because you believe you're right doesn't mean you are. Keep an open mind. That's one that we all need to listen to, because somehow we all feel that we're right. But we're looking through a different pair of glasses as well. So when we think we're right, we may not be. So don't always stand firm, I know I'm right. That's how we get into a lot of arguments. I'm right, and the other person says, no, I'm right. Who knows who's right? We're probably all wrong in the end. Alrighty, she says, be eccentric now. Don't wait for old age to wear purple. How beautiful is that? Do not wait for old age to wear purple. Be eccentric now. Do what you want to do. I saw a TV show once, And it was saying that women over, I think it was 40, should not wear short skirts. I say hogwash. Some of the best legs I've ever seen are on women over 40. That we don't need to be locked into an age, and we don't need to say, oh, I'm too old for that or whatever. Just live life every day. Be eccentric. And if you feel like doing it, don't worry about what other people are saying. Just go and do it. She says the most important sex organ is the brain. I hope especially that guys are listening, because I think women know this. Guys don't seem to know that. Guys just start grabbing and doing all the stuff they do, and women have to have their brain turned on. The brain is the greatest aphrodisiac. If you can turn on the brain, the body will follow at some point. You know, obviously you have to be ready, and we're not saying everybody run out and have sex. We're just saying that if you're looking to have sex, and even if you have a partner, that you need to be able to turn on their brain. That's so beautiful. I wish that Regina could elaborate on that one a little bit. Number 25, no one is in charge of your happiness but you. And you know, happiness is not something that we look toward happening later in the future. We should be happy every day. And it's hard, especially when we lose our loved ones, or if you're not feeling well and you've got medical issues, and Lord knows if you've had a tornado or different things that happen, of course it brings us down, but we really should seek happiness every day and understand that we are in control of our happiness. And we can't say, well, so-and-so's making me mad, so-and-so's bringing me down. We're in control of that. Don't let them impact us, and seek happiness every single day. Number 26, frame every so-called disaster with these words. In 5 years, will it really matter? Will it really matter in 5 years? I know that a lot of us have heard that one, and I know we have to think about that, because sometimes we'll say, oh, it's a disaster. And in the end, was it really a disaster? No, it was probably an inconvenience. It was probably something that didn't quite feel right, but it wasn't really a disaster. A real disaster, like a tsunami, you'll remember that 5, 10, 15, 100 years down the road. But she's basically saying to understand that when you think you're having a disaster, ask yourself, will this matter 5 years down the road? The next one, always choose life. And even though life is difficult, we have to choose life. You know my motto, turn lemons into lemonade. That's what we have to do. Choose life and always try to make the best of your circumstances. Forgive everyone, everything. That's a little tough. Sometimes people do really bad things to us, and it's hard to find forgiveness. But we also know that you have an eating sore, that if you really are seeking forgiveness, it helps you and it helps the other person. And even if the other person may not even know about it, you have to find forgiveness and not carry that with you. Okay, we're going to take a small break here, and I'm going to check into the chat room. Have a little sip of Crystal Light. You guys got something fun to nibble on? If you've won some Benitos, I hope you're eating yours tonight. Crystal Light's so great, only 5 calories and no sugar, and just really tasty and fun. Anne, I'm glad to see you here. Anne is saying that forgiveness is huge, that it really is the only thing, and it really is, Anne, Amy. It's just so important, and I think a lot of us have learned that. Amy says, Sandy says she thinks that we have to create a visual board with a list of what we want from God. And we do. We have to decide what we want, and we have to visualize that. And a lot of people advocate writing it down, you know, and then we certainly have to be prayerful and to ask for the things that we need. Yes, that's really great, Sandy. I love that. That's excellent. Terry, who won Benitos before, said he fell in love with them. And then I had to go and spoil it by saying they're healthy. That is so funny. Oh my gosh, that is just hilarious. Amy says her daughter loves Benitos and she had no idea. Well, Amy, you need to try them. And absolutely, you're going to have a chance to win them tonight. You sure are. And Ellen, I know you've been wanting to win them too. All you guys need to win. Doug had them. He posted a cute picture of him eating them on my Facebook wall. It was absolutely adorable. Okay, all right, moving on to the next one. What other people think of you is none of your business. Now, isn't that interesting? I thought, what other people think of you is none of your business. So she's basically saying, stop worrying what other people are thinking. Don't even try to talk to them about it. Don't even ask them what they're thinking. It really doesn't matter what other people think. You have to do the best you can for yourself. Forget about everybody. Okay, we're moving on to number 30. Time heals almost everything. Give time time. Isn't that poignant? Time must be given time. I never really thought about that. We want things to happen like this quickly, but it's just not going to happen that way. So she says that you do heal with time, but you must give time time. I'm going to write that one down and stick it on the refrigerator. That eliminates impatience, right? Okay, however good or bad a situation is, it will change. And I really like that one a lot because sometimes things are so hard. And we all know that when we lose our loved ones, things are so hard. We just don't know how we can possibly bear being in the place where we are. But if we just wait a while, things will change. They always do change. So I love that a lot. That's really a great one. So, okay, yes, and I just got a little personal note. I will post the link to the show afterwards, so you will be able to see it, and then perhaps I'll have a chance to post the list as well, because these are all super great, and we should all have them posted on our refrigerator. The next one says, don't take yourself so seriously, because guess what? Nobody else does. Isn't that funny? I mean, sometimes we really do take ourselves super seriously, but when you realize that nobody else does, kind of deflates your balloon a little bit, and that's where we should be. Just don't take ourselves so seriously. We need to have fun and enjoy ourselves. She goes on to say, believe in miracles. I wonder where she got that one from. She says miracles are everywhere. Believe in miracles. I really love that one. I've been looking, since I've read this list, I've been looking everywhere, looking for a miracle. Where is it? What is it? And will I recognize it when I see it? Look for the miracles. Believe in the miracles. Number 34. Your job is to love your children, not choose who they should love. How hard is that for you parents out there? You know, you always want to really like and learn to love whoever your children pick. And we all know millions of families where that just hasn't happened. But she's basically saying, love your children. Don't try to choose who your children love. Super, super, super poignant. Okay, let's check back into the chat room. Let's see what you guys are saying. Oh, Amy started working at hospice this weekend. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations for that. Terry says, don't wait for something good to happen to you. Make it happen for someone else. It will come back to you. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful addition to what our 90-year-old woman has said. That's great. Excellent. I love the conversation in the chat room. I hope you guys are watching the show, and I hope you know that you can easily enter the chat room to be part of the conversation, because everybody talks about everything. Sandy just said she met a guy that was a movie stunt coordinator, and what an interesting life he has had. And yes, I know tons of stunt coordinators, and some of them are women, and I really appreciate them so much. They set themselves on fire, they jump off of tall buildings and land on a trampoline. Not for me, but yeah, what a very interesting life. Okay, Linda said, I was looking for this quote to share with Doug. Keep dancing with God. God will let the right girl cut in. Oh, that's beautiful. I know Doug is really lonely. A lot of us are really lonely, and I know Doug's looking for the right woman. And Linda says, keep dancing with God. God will let the right girl in. That's great. I love it. You guys are sharing some poignant messages as well. That's so great. Okay, alrighty. Now let's see what is next here. Alrighty. Don't audit life. Show up and just make the most of it. How great is that one? Just don't audit life. Just be there. Just show up and make the most of it. And it makes me think about vacations I've had where things didn't really turn out the way that I had hoped or planned. And it really turned out to be some of my best vacations because I definitely have the ability to make the best of a situation. And once again, that's my motto, turn lemons into lemonade. And that's what she's saying. Just show up and make the best of whatever the situation is. Because we all know it's worse when we start to complain and act crazy. It's so much worse. Okay, the next one. Growing old beats the alternative, which of course is dying young. And isn't that the truth? My husband was 43 years old. I know tons of widowed people whose spouses were a lot younger than that. And I look at that and I think, gosh, you really get ripped off when you die young. And I know it's all part of God's plan. And I try to look for the beauty in it, which is you didn't have to get old or sick or whatever. But on the other hand, the opportunity to grow older is a beautiful, beautiful gift. And that's what she says. Growing old beats the alternative, dying young. Number 37. Your children get only one childhood. That's one I would love to hear her elaborate on. She's pretty much saying to me, make sure that your children have a good childhood because they're only going to get one. And you can't redo it and you can't take it back. And I'm reading a book. Some of you guys watched the show that I did on Valentine's Day, and Minister Willie Wiggins had donated 5 copies of his book. He's been so busy on his book tour that I'm now reading one of his books. And he loves his parents dearly, and he said they were good providers, but he was one of 14 children. And he said his parents used to beat them. And he doesn't hold anything against them. And I know things have to be pretty hectic when you've got 14 kids. But on the other hand, I look back and I think of how his life has been changed and the things that he has gone through because of his childhood. You only get one. So for parents out there who have kids at home, remember that. They only get one childhood. That's amazing. Number 38, all that truly matters in the end is that you loved. Isn't that something? Everybody's heard me quote my favorite line from Love Story. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved before. And that's what she's saying. At the end of time, I guess if you're on your deathbed or if you're old and you're sitting there just reflecting like she did when she wrote these tips for living, that you just start to look at everything and you realize that love is the most important thing. And a lot of people have not really ever found love. Some people are really closed and they're afraid of loving. So I think for those of us who are widowed, I think there's a message for us that perhaps we should seek love again, understanding that love is the greatest gift and the one thing that truly matters in the end. Number 39. Get outside every day. Miracles are waiting everywhere. Isn't that beautiful? Get outside every day, guys, even if it's just for a few minutes. I'm a nature girl. I love being outside, and I've been trying to go outside for about maybe 30 minutes in the late afternoon and just catch a few rays, just feeling the sun on your face, not when it's the really hot, intense sun, but after businesses are closed, you can't do business anymore. I would just walk out there and I'll just sit in my lounge chair and just look up at the sun and just feel it on my face. Now I've added something to that. I will continue to go outside for a moment every day, but now I'm looking for the miracles because Regina says they are everywhere, and I believe that. We just have to watch for them. And sometimes things happen, and I don't think that we recognize them as the miracles they are, so maybe we should all be more watchful. Number 40, if we all threw our problems in a pile and saw everyone else's list, we would grab ours back. Ooh, isn't that something to think about? Because we all have problems. You know, the Bible tells us man born of woman is a few days in much trouble. The Bible tells us we're going to have trouble. And a lot of people who have financial issues feel like money will solve it. All you got to do is know a few rich people. I know tons of very wealthy people, and they just struggle with other things. You know what I mean? And they can't trust people, and people always want something from them. And it's just really crazy. Or maybe their kids struggle because they've been given so much they don't really appreciate things, and maybe they get into trouble because they've got enough money where they can. So I love what she is just saying, that when we think we have a lot of problems, and when we think, oh, life is so hard, and oh, it really sucks, and how can I continue, just remember that if we put everybody's problems in a pile, we're going to grab ours back. Ours are not as bad as so many others, and that's something that we definitely can hold on to. Envy is a waste of time. You already have all you need. Isn't that something? And you know, when you look at it, you look at a lot of older people and they get rid of stuff. You know, they understand that maybe they're closer to death. We all could be close to death and we don't know it. But I know as you get older, you do tend to see, okay, it's coming. I don't need all this stuff. I don't need all this clutter. I'm just happy to exist. I'm happy to have friends and family and nice food and just look for happiness and just to relish in the miracles and the glory of the gift of life. Isn't that neat? I love that. I think that's just so great. So just when you catch yourself going, man, look at her, she got a new car. Or wow, look at him, he got a new piece of jewelry. I haven't had a new piece of jewelry in 25 years. When we start looking at that, just stop and realize that envy is not good. It doesn't help anybody. It only hurts us. And in the end, we really do have what we need. God does provide for us. I think about the Bible verse about the birds. What are they worried about? I mean, it's not like they got sacks of food sitting in every corner, but they come out and they look and there's always food. And that's the way it is for us. We're always going to be okay, even if our circumstances are not exactly as we wish. All right, I'm going to stop and check into the chat room for a minute. Okay. Wow, Terry says when he was young that toys were not even invented yet. He said we played with rocks. And you know what? I'm really blessed to have had a grandmother who lived in the country, because when we were little, of course we had toys, but when we would go to the country, we would make games out of pine needles and pine cones and rocks and just whatever kind of stuff nature had deposited it. We had so much fun doing that because we were using our brains. We were using creativity. We didn't have to read an instruction manual. We could use our brains. So I'm with you, Terry. And Terry says rocks can be fun. Absolutely. And then somebody created the pet rock. Do you guys remember that? Somewhere I've got two pet rocks. I named them Wendy and Cindy. How funny is that? Yeah, you can make all kinds of games out of just natural stuff with a little bit of creativity. That's so great. And Terry goes on to say that, you know, we had imagination back then, no video games. Sandy, that's good, Sandy. She says, I would fill little pails with water and give my kids. Now, what a fun little toy is that? You can do all kinds of stuff with a bucket of water. I'm sure they had a blast with that. That's very natural and very creative. That's so great. And paint brushes to paint the driveway. And then the whole neighborhood joined in. Now, how funny is that? And I know your kids had toys, but to do something natural that looked like so much fun, the whole neighborhood joined in, that's great. I love that. Ellen says we would play with acorns and take the tops off and use them as hats on our paper dolls. Oh my goodness, how great is that, Ellen? I love that, honey. That is like the cutest thing in the entire world. And hula hooping in the 5th grade. I'll tell you right now, I am still a good hula hooper. And I actually have a hula hoop. We'll have to do a hula hoop segment one day. All you guys have to let me know when you go out and get one, because that's like some great exercise too, isn't it? Goodness gracious, that's like crazy. Okay, all right, moving on. Tip number 42, the best is yet to come. What a glorious thought that is. I know some people who look back and they say, oh, my life is over, and oh, if I were younger, and oh, I can't get around so good, and oh, this hurts, or I'm on Social Security and I don't have enough money to do my thing. But she says the best is yet to come. So to me, that means there's some real beauty in being allowed to make it to 90 years old. You've seen so much, you've figured out so much. When you think about older people, look how calm they are. You don't really ever see them screaming or yelling or throwing stuff or fussing. They're just calm. They have an acceptance, and maybe it's because they're in that great place where the best is here. They're just enjoying it. They don't care. They just watch everybody else freak out. The best is yet to come. Number 43, no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, and show up. I think that's probably one of the best ones there is, because everybody's got days of feeling sad or feeling bad physically or just worrying, which brings you down. And when you're in those types of modes, you have a tendency to be a recluse and you just stay inside, maybe even with the windows pulled down. But I like the idea of what she says, that no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, and show up, because I do agree with that. I think we feel better if we just force ourselves to get up and go, because I know for me, I have fought myself at different times. Oh, I don't want to do this and whatever. And the crazy part is if I talk myself out of going somewhere that I had wanted to go earlier because I don't feel like it, then the moment I realize it's too late to go, I start regretting it. It's so stupid. So if you have plans, or even if you don't, make plans, dress up and get up and show up. That's the most beautiful thing in the entire world. Number 44 is yield. Isn't that one to think about? Just yield. Gosh, I like that idea, which basically to me means be watchful and to take pause. Don't just be a bulldozer, just bulldozing your way through life, but just take a little pause and yield and understand that that's okay. She also says, number 45, life isn't tied with a bow, but it is still a gift. Isn't that something? Man, oh man, and it's so true. Life is not tied with a bow. It's just not tied with a bow, but it's still a gift. So I hope you guys enjoyed that 45 tips from Regina Brett. Obviously, a very wise, very worldly, and experienced 90-year-old woman. So I will see if I can post this on Facebook, and I will also post the link to tonight's show so that you guys can watch it again and hopefully share it with your friends. When you watch the show, please remember to tell people about it. If you're not my Facebook or Twitter follower, please find me on Facebook and Twitter under my name, Robin_Craig on Twitter, and just Robin Craig. You'll obviously recognize me on Facebook. And I love to keep the dialogue going. I love to know what you guys are doing. I love it when you let me know what you're up to and what's happening with you. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Another thing that I want to do is a big shout out to Nyla Dutcher. Everybody knows that Nyla is a regular viewer of Robin Craig Live, and she's also a moderator. And she had double cataracts. She found out when she was going in to see about having LASIK. She didn't even know that she had double cataracts. They caught it before her eyes were cloudy. So today she had her left eye done, and then the first part of May she will have the right eye done. So let's all keep her in our prayers, and let's send her little love notes. Obviously she doesn't need to be straining her good eye reading our notes, but just to let her know that we care about her and that we love her and we miss her. So get well, Nyla. We're going to be looking for you to come back and see us very soon. So now, in reference to winning tonight, I'm going to do the Facebook thing because I want the people at home and the people in the chat room all to have a chance to win. I've had a couple of people tell me that when I do the 10th email, they don't feel like they've gotten there soon enough. So this week, I'm going to take the 20th email on my website, robincraigdirect.com. The 20th email that says Benito's is going to win a case of these delivered to your front doorstep. And the Luminous kit, you're going to get a Luminous kit. And I'm going to hold it up again. This is the Pro and this is the Elite, because I know you guys are going to want to check it out. And I know that you're going to want to go buy one. You just can't beat $69, $79, the cost of 2 manicures at the salon. And you're going to have a chance to win one. So I'm going to take the 20th email that says Gel Hot, Haute, polish. And if you don't win, go to their website, gelhotpolish.com, and you can also have that delivered to your doorstep, and you will save so much money. I tell you, one thing that I'm loving is, having gone to the nail salon for so many years, it takes time, and I have to make an appointment, and I have to drive there, get it done, and drive back. So, you know, it's a few hours. And the fact that I can do this one at home, when I did my nails the other day, I did them at night, like 11 o'clock when nothing's even open. And once again, I have to brag. Look at how good they look. There's my little manicure. Can you see that? My little French manicure. I love it. I'm actually adjusting to the shorter length. And as I said earlier in the show, it sure is helping me doing my gardening. I am like the gardening queen right now. We've been blessed to have some great, great rain. But with the rain and the sunshine, everything is growing like mad. So I'm excited though. I'm happy that all the greenery is here. My yard's looking great. And by the way, Texas Lawn, LAWN, Texas Lawn Geeks. If you are in the greater Houston area, be sure and check them out. My yard's looking so happy. They came out with the fertilizer, they came out with the ant killer, and they're coming out Friday morning to put some more eco-friendly chemicals on. So I think I'm going to maybe win Yard of the Month. I don't know. So stick around for that. So let's check into the chat room one more time, see what you guys got going on. Okay. I love it. I love it because so many widows are friends. And I love it, Sandy, that you and Ellen have your regular lunch meeting every few months. I think that's so great. They have to drive and they meet somewhere in the middle and they have lunch together. That's so special to do that. I love that. And also, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys had fun at Camp Widow East. It just occurred in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It was Friday through Wednesday of this last week, and there's lots of great pictures all over Facebook. So Camp Widow West will be coming up in August in San Diego at the Marriott on the Marina. So I hope to be there this year, and that's where I've met a lot of you guys. So I hope everybody's saving their money and we all have an opportunity to have fun out there. So I'm going to stick around the chat room for another few minutes. I love you guys so much, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you. You guys are very, 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 very special to me. And just remember to tell others about the show. And once again, if you're interested in supporting Robin Craig Live, you can go to my website, robincraigdirect.com, and there is a donations page. It really takes a lot to keep this show going, and it would really mean an awful lot if you were able to make a donation. And there's no donation that's too small, believe me. So I love you to pieces. Thank you so much, and I look forward